Greetings and welcome to a Prayerful Pause. I'm Nancy Woodworth-Hill, a spiritual director and companion. Today we begin what appears to be a 10-part series on forgiveness. It's grown since I began. This is the first in a series on the topic of forgiveness. We're going to begin with a look at the biblical teachings on forgiveness. Next time we'll ponder what forgiveness is not, and following that we'll gather some elements of what forgiveness is, as well as some of the impediments to forgiveness. And then we'll explore patterns for forgiveness in two different ways. So let's begin by recognizing that horrible things happen. It's true that there is no one who hasn't been wounded in some way or wounded others. And additionally, I'd like to mention that the size of the wounding doesn't matter. Wounds are wounds, whether they're little or just huge. We can respond to being wounded with a desire for retribution. But retribution begets retribution. And with an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, the world will soon be blind and toothless. Often, what we desire is acknowledgement of what has happened, which runs counter to our legal system, by the way. We want to hear those who have wronged us take responsibility for their actions by acknowledging these actions or inactions, and possibly making up for them in an acceptable way. So the question is, what wisdom does the Bible have for us? One of the earliest descriptions of God is the Lord, a God compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in kindness and faithfulness. Another is you, being a forgiving God, gracious and compassionate, long-suffering and abounding in faithfulness. Both of these are found in the Hebrew Scriptures, connected with the story of the Exodus from Egypt. We learn from them that forgiving, compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in kindness and faithfulness are the people's experience of God, forming their thoughts about the nature of God. Psalm 137, one of my personal favorites, describes the woundedness of being a captive people, forced hundreds of miles from home and being asked by their captors to sing a song of mirth. The people ask, how shall we sing the Lord's song upon an alien land? The answer is still appropriate. First, do not forget who and whose you are. The authors belong to Jerusalem, and they are the Lord's. They are not of Babylon, where they are currently residing. Do not forget this, the psalmist says. Secondly, remember the destruction, but do not become the destroyer, because vengeance is God's alone. Both answers can be challenging advice to hear, and we'll explore this as we go along. Jesus, too, spoke of forgiveness. He is rather famous for telling Peter, one of his disciples, who asked if 7 is the number of times he should forgive someone, that Jesus said not 7 times, but 77 times. In reading the Gospels, I am convinced that Jesus' main message, his good news, is about the kingdom of God, also known as the kingdom of heaven. How we are to enter it, receive it, and inherit it. Note, he never uses the words build, enlarge, or create. This kingdom is always available to us as it is near. It's not limited to after our death. Many of Jesus' stories are about what this kingdom is like. The main path into this kingdom is how we live our lives, which includes taking on the qualities of God, which I just mentioned: forgiveness, compassion, slow to anger, abounding in kindness and faithfulness. These are qualities that Jesus, the Christ, also shows us. And this is our challenge, to be more like Jesus. Jungian analyst and Episcopal priest John Sanford, who died in 2005, writes that Jesus himself had very little to say about the sins of the flesh. His main concern were sins of the spirit. Sin springs from a state of moral darkness brought on by a lack of awareness that causes one to miss the mark. And this "miss the mark" is a translation of the Greek word for sin. We may understand this as our sinfulness. Our capacity to miss the mark makes us debtors to God. Jesus includes this in what we know as the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us our trespasses, which may also be translated as sins, debts, offenses, or wrongs, as we forgive those who trespass, sin, debt, offend, wrong against us. Sanford further writes that Christian hope is not that this world will one day be a perfect world, but that there is a reality, a divine order beyond what is immediately visible to us in this world. Here in this realm, God rules, and evil cannot overcome it. This realm is the kingdom of heaven. Thus, forgiveness is tied to God. It is a mercy, a grace, a gift to forgive. It's often easy to see in another person how holding a grudge, plotting vengeance, or desiring retribution does more to eat at the person wronged than at the one who has done wrong. It can be difficult to see in ourselves. As the saying goes, when we hold on to our anger, our upset, our bitterness, our losses, we only poison ourselves. Forgiveness, then, is critical in the biblical tradition. Jesus connects forgiveness with living into the kingdom of heaven. Next time, we will take a look at what forgiveness is not, to assist us in further understanding what it is.